Hello, chat room. It's your boy, the Tommy NT from the internet. We got a little bit of a caster rotation going on, keeping things exciting and special for you all. Gonna have friend of the show. You might have seen it here under my hand. I'll have Henny He from PXP Entertainment joining us. Yeah, well, just mostly on the principle of I don't think anyone needed to hear Bandai card games anymore, but we're gonna get him on in a second. So get some Gatomons pointing in the chat for PXP Entertainment's own Henny He. Oh my God, it's Henny Gallant. Oh my Lord.
Hello, hello. I'll take you out of studio mode for a bit.
Thanks, Goat. All right, Henny, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing well.
Good. Oh, he needs to get his mic on. We're good? We're good? Oh, we're sick. We're in there.
Yes, sir.
So, Henny, I thought you were playing this regional. What's up?
I was participating in this regional.
Were you having a good time?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
I mean, of course, it's always fun going to the UK, hanging out with the Manchester gang.
He has to say that legally.
Seeing everyone. Yes, this is
it's a bribe.
Correct.
We pay him every time.
This is correct. Represent misplay, of course. No, UK is always one of the regions I really like going to, so that's one I always try to visit.
For sure.
For regionals. But with the current format, of course, at the past few regionals, if people see me around or seen the channel, I've been on TS Toolbox the entire year, basically. And with one certain card introduction, it's been a little bit difficult.
It's a tough break if you like to play lots of Digimon at about 12,000 DP, huh?
Yeah, it's like if you make a board, sometimes with home rolls and field spell, they might get even a 6k bonus.
Yeah.
And that just means Susano has to put 2 more colors underneath.
Yep.
Yeah, it's difficult. So, for me, I didn't want to pivot to TB just yet, because I was like, let's just see how this regional goes. I was like, I messaged my good friend from North America, Patrick.
Shout out Patrick.
I messaged him, yo, what are we on with Gallant? Send me the list. Send me the list. He sent me the list. I looked at it. I saw the vision.
It looked gorgeous, especially with your alts.
I decided to play it. Of course, you have the same alts. Yeah, very nice looking alts. So I decided to play it. Just finished round 2. We're heading to round 3 right now.
Yeah, pairings are up, so we'll get into the way in a moment.
I lost against Galacti round 1 because red deck of the format against the black deck of the format that is immune with immunity, protection, and stopping attacks is a good
so
effect.
Good,
it's a good
right?
effect. Yeah,
so good.
And then second round against Adventure. Very fun having those matchups.
That's cool. Sweet.
Nice.
I know what one of those players is playing.
And then, it wasn't in the cards today. I was not him, which happens. It's
sometimes you're he, sometimes you're him.
Yes, exactly. That's part of the game. So, I was like, round 2, I'm X2, need to win all rounds for a chance at top cut.
Sure. We mentioned earlier this is the last time people are going for the uncut sheet, of course. So you don't have a lot to prove in that regard, but
And then I looked Andrew in the eye and was like, "Sir, would you like a break?"
Yeah, we're gonna need it. It's gonna be a long weekend.
And now we're here.
But yeah, get some love in the gang here for PXP Entertainment and Henny specifically. Check out the YouTube channel. The tag down there is accurate, and you can find all that up. But we're still waiting for some players to join us. So I'm not gonna swing us around just yet. But we're going to get some player information soon. It's going to be a good one. Some familiar faces if you've watched a lot of Misplay for Game live streams. And in their own rights, maybe some of the most prestigious UK Digimon players of the last 2 or 3 years. Regional champion, I don't want to spoil yet. There's a couple of those here in the room. But a regional champion among us, as well as multiple-time Top Cut finalist. And a player you guys probably saw the last time we did one of these. So it can be very exciting. I expect this, Henny, to be not dissimilar to your description of red deck versus big unaffected wall in a minute, but
no, I know one of the decks.
You know one of the decks.
I know. I've spoken to Joe.
Oh, good. I've spoken to our friend Shane. So we each know half.
Yeah, I'm casting. Focus on your match, man.
Yeah, hey, pretend we're not here, man. What are you doing?
No pressure. There's no one here.
What, do you think we're made of money? I don't got a free wall lying around.
If we were on time, we could have set it up, maybe.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I've seen some shout-outs to PXP in the chat, so thank you guys for that, of course.
Oh, excellent. Right, chat. So we're getting underway. Again, round 3, so make some love for the competitors you're going to be seeing here. And then one more time, if you've liked the graphics that you've been seeing so far through the stream, which again you'll get a refresher on in a second, consider supporting the YouTube here at the KnTElixar YouTube channel or twitch.tv/KnTElixar, where you can consider supporting from the champion tier. Gets early access to the VODs and edited pieces for this. So if you want to watch this back later, well worth the money, check it out. Check it out for a month. It'll be a pretty good deal. Or if you've got, we mentioned earlier, students in the UK, get an Amazon student account, which comes with Twitch Prime for free. So if you're about to start a new semester of university, coming up in, it's the end of July now.
Signing up for next year.
Signing up for next year. Consider using that. That $5 a month goes a long way for us to have the means and the time to have Andrew locked in a room until he makes a new overlay, which would be really cool. Let's see, what else? Yeah, also Twitch stuff. If you're a channel member, like I mentioned earlier, or a Twitch subscriber, you get some cool new emotes you can mess around with. We got 2 new Gatomon ones, so we can laugh at the misplays. I don't expect there to be a lot of misplays with these 2 players. These are not the sort of dudes that you see at events who typically misplay. This is not really that kind of game. But at the very least, maybe we get a good one in every now and then. We're going to just about get underway. The timer's starting in a second. Very excited. So Henny, if you, now that you're kind of on this side of the content wall and you get to enjoy the kind of casual viewing experience with me, is there any deck you really want to watch today? Any deck in this format that you're like, God, I hope I see at least one person playing it at the event today?
Decks in the format. I think personally for me, the EXL format has been, I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
Oh, you can be lower than 50-50 if you want to be, pal.
Because I do like the new archetypes they introduced, but getting into the games right now, we're seeing a BT26 and Uko getting revealed.
That is a red hybrid, my friend.
It is red hybrid. Yeah. Oh, is this the red hybrid man himself?
Very
right.
exciting stuff.
Yes.
We, like I mentioned, we pulled some pretty prestigious UK Digimon players here. Folks who you've seen before at events numerous times, ready to roll.
Yeah, so right here we are seeing red hybrid against what I guess we could call it the boogeyman of the format.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
I think even given our assessment a second ago of what happened to Time Stranger Toolbox, it's Toho Braves.
Toho Braves.
And listen, I'm people who have consumed any of the content we've done in any misplay for game adjacent product know that I'm a big VPET stan. If it comes on a little 6-inch long Tamagotchi toy, I'm probably a fan. But my God, Toho Braves is on another level. They are not messing around with Shambhala. These cards are ridiculous. One of them especially ridiculous.
No, I have to say for a first wave deck of a slop archetype featured in hit game Digimon Story Time Stranger, of course. It really does rival the power of the first wave of TS, as we've seen with... I always refer to TS Blue, like the Abyss Sanctuary,
the Abyss Area one,
that Billy famously piloted at Worlds to second place finish, as being one of the strongest Wave 1 support decks that we've seen.
Certainly ever, I think is a safe thing to say.
I think back in the day, one of the ones that stood out to me to contest that spot would have been Hunters.
Hunters is a great
right off
call.
The gate was really strong.
Great call.
First wave of Crossheart was also really strong.
Yep.
But with the power creep of the game and how the game changes, the amount of interaction that the deck brings, it has just been really, really new and refreshing.
Yeah, there's I think Bandai, a lot has been said over the last year or so of like how the cards get designed these days, and like, are there too many trait decks? Are there too many Digimon that are affected or unaffected? Are dual cards a new level of power, whatever? Even ignoring any of that discussion, I think the way that they designed Sai Warriors and Toho Braves to kind of be the two halves of the same coin of like an aggressive board clearing deck, a defensive board building deck, it's like a welcome change to the TCG as a whole. I think it changes the pace in a big way.
Yes.
Sai Warriors is like a lot of interaction points on the board. Toho Braves is like, you must be this tall to ride. There's a lot to like about how the cards move. Speaking of cards moving, the Red Hybrid, famous for putting belt to ass and getting the game going.
Aggression, and another form of aggression.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's also one of those things too, because like one of the advantages Red Hybrid gets is it's sort of the de facto red colored toolbox now. Gallant, I'm explaining it to you in spirit. The chat are mostly here to learn. But Gallantmon is more archetypally locked. We saw a Greymon adjacent list earlier. Greymon much more archetypally locked. Hybrids are pretty self-contained. They don't really need a lot of help. Sometimes they don't even play target level 6s. It's just a lot of like low to the ground and very cheap evolutions and value engine. So like you can kind of put whatever you want on top of them.
Yeah, especially in this matchup, I think you definitely want to race against TB and bring them into a game state where even if they're able to create a board, you have the toolbox level 6 lineup that you can use to break the boards, and you want to bring them low enough that you're able to deal the final damage before they really contest the board state back. And of course, one of the new cards that got released, and one of the cards that I do really like from EX12, the NetzaMon.
Oh my goodness.
We've seen
amazing.
NetzaGreymon
amazing.
On stream.
You missed out. That was so sick.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's a very strong card. It has like keyword soup. It has one of the best
5
keywords.
keywords is a real deal. People are right about that.
And it does stand against Susanomon in this format. And I think, I'm not sure what the list is as chains on, of course.
Yeah.
But we might, I would expect there to might be a Netza here or there.
It did. I know personally from experience that it performed well in a couple of Chinese Super Tamer battles as one of those cards that had a bit of a standout showing. Shane is, of course, a player most people might recognize from the streams for putting kind of a lot more players on the map for the Dragon Links dragons as the top end for Red Hybrid. So there is, to its credit, quite a lot of red toolbox level 6s over the years that you can kind of pull from. So
yeah, especially during the Bristol regionals earlier this
year.
My
goodness,
it was the debut of seeing the Dragon Links together with Virus Imperial in a maybe a bit more wholesome.
Exactly. An ethical version of Dragon Links.
Who knows? Yeah. But of course, also just in from Asia, like a few minutes ago, Kurova has won the Grand Asia
GAO,
Open with Toho Braves.
So the pressure's here.
Yes, it is a deck.
Yeah,
one of the decks of all time.
It's a deck and a half, and I mean, one of the craziest parts of this deck is that at almost every level, it has one of the strongest effects of any kind of Digimon card printed in this expansion. Like, even if you ignore the fact that like some of the cards it can borrow, it borrows from the Saiyu Warriors, like the Hakubamon, that play out the tagged Shambhala trait cards.
The Chohakai as well, for having access to the Digivolve, yes.
But like this archetype is so self-contained with like uniquely powerful effects that a lot of times players can't really keep up with just how much it can get done and as quickly as possible.
Yeah, for example, even the sequences now, right? Like not only needing the Shishimamon to do a check with Execute and being able to evolve into a level 6, but also having the field spell.
Yeah.
The Shambhala field spell too, when attacking during Execute timing, being able to go into a 6 is really good. And it just gives you very interesting lines and ways to create a board that's really annoying to deal with for a lot of current decks. And it brings us into a format where what TS Toolbox was before, now Shambhala has taken over, where it's like you need to have certain check marks for your deck to actually contend against the top meta decks. Whereas like we've seen some decks from previous formats still doing well in this current EX12 format, for example, Beat Break.
Yeah,
being able to have an immune card to just like stand tall against Susanomon. Having barrier
has never been better.
Yes, having barrier inherit so you can actually deal with the Execute, because Execute, of course, can attack any Digimon. But there are other things that the TB players can do. For example, we've seen Kurova's list with the Dan Yuki.
Crazy card.
Susanomon is
a Time Stranger traded Digimon.
It is a TS trade card, yes. They did. He was in the game, and they put the trade on the card. So being able to attack end of turn and gaining a lot of DP due to the assembly cost, of course.
Yeah, amazing.
And then not having to delete yourself with Execute, of course, is a good way to just actually use the raid part of the card.
Yeah.
Because it has rush and raid to just slam into it and keeping it on the board.
Yeah, it needs it, of course. And all that's all to say before we even talk about one of the things most people consider maybe the most out-the-box impressive component to Toho Brave's game plan, which is the Sanmyojin Arrival Delay spell. That card is absolutely crazy.
Formerly known as Courage United from the Adventure Starter deck. When any level 5 or higher TB leaves the battle area, you just play out one of the archetypal 6s.
I really did used to think that like, maybe if Courage United played out where Garurumon and popped something, that's like fine, I guess. And then here we are, a year and a half later, Amaterasumon is deleting things and returning cards from trash on your opponent's turn, and you're like, yep, this makes sense.
And of course, the card is 3-colored because it represents one of the colors of each of the Sanmyojin, of course, which also gives Susanomon easier access to enough colors to just DP minus for 21. Ooh, and then Atomic Inferno.
This is a double Atomic Inferno action turn here.
That's how that was that we were talking about?
Sounds like the guy right there.
Yeah, and when blocked, you do in fact you gain 4 memory, and having collision on the body Yeah, this is a mandatory block.
It's pretty effective here. It's
Yeah.
one of those things too where it's like both of these cards kind of have like the micro synergies too, because one of the things that we talk about when it comes to Susanomon is obviously in TB it's picking up Shambhala traded
But
cards.
it do be a hybrid
But
card.
it's a hybrid, and it
Yes.
can assemble with hybrids and Sai Warriors and Toho Braves and the Shambhala engine at home. So one of the advantages is all of these out of engine tech pieces come back together in a pretty big way for that level 7. Man, Atomic Inferno though, one of those archetypal support cards that has really lasted the test of time. Cool to see people taking names with it today.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, there's no way for Red Hybrid after they assembly to attack with Susanomon because they don't have Execute or end of
Yeah,
turn
they
attack.
basically have no way to get there.
But being able to evolve very cheap into your level 6 and then evolving into the Susanomon, that does allow the 5-cost Tamer to declare an attack with it because it is a hybrid if I'm correct on the effects.
Yes, that is how I understand it too.
That is a very surprise finisher, and in this case also seeing another incidental synergy. Having Netsamon as a top end card also is a target for the assembly.
Yeah.
And also gives you interaction against the Digivolve, having a rush engage body underneath. Of course, one of the things I tried with Toolbox, I was like, yeah, we still got the Digivolve with Minervamon, but they just slap another Susanomon underneath or Netsamon, and then it becomes very annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this case, we see the cheapest Netsamon evolution, of course, the good old 0-cost Evo.
The way the game is intended to be
Yes,
played.
and exactly. As soon as the security gets removed, it will unsuspend, and the effect of Atomic Inferno is lingering. So
yes, so I'll keep doing it.
this will effectively print 8 memory unless it's dealt with. But of course, the card has immunity. It doesn't have progress, which it can get next set.
Yeah, next set.
But
shouldn't
it
have too much
has
trouble getting.
immunity through, of course, the attack target being changed. So.
And this is one of those components to the deck where it's like particularly powerful. One of the kind of inherent advantages is that it's not safe regularly to assume that options and security can assist you with outing a red hybrid board. Aldamon gives the inherit to basically turn all of that off.
Yes.
So you're either playing around protecting against Digimon with Netsamon, or you're trying to fight off option spam, and Aldamon is your guy for that. So the deck really has multiple faceted ways to play an aggressive line. It's important too, because one of the things Toho Braves is really good at is choosing the right Sanmyojin to develop the board that stops your opponent. So Kagumon particularly makes a big defensive retaliated blocker board, which can do a lot to stem the bleeding here. If you're already going to get collided with anyway, Kagumon is maybe the detriment to its like blocker keyword is lessened here. And stopping the push for all that damage going through as fast as possible can make a difference in stabilizing. That being said, there are a lot of other red hybrids that can get you through some of the little blockers first.
Yep. And of course, triggering the spirit evolution of a security being removed. Security being removed, so being able to play out a Tamer to trigger the spirit evolution, and then going into an Aldamon because of the black box on top of a Takuya with X sources. Yeah, this is. I can tell that this is exactly the way
memory.
that this is intended to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the game plan of the deck. Yep.
There it is.
And then we drop a Netsa for 12 and engage for game. Yes,
Wow,
that's
what it's for, man.
I think this is exactly the game plan that this deck has, that Shane specifically had in mind with how he built the deck with the cards that I have seen. So yeah, impressive.
That was a nice and tidy.
10 minutes, around 10 minutes because of the stream delay.
Yeah,
of course,
exactly.
having to
Very
set up.
aggressive start, which is, to be fair, what you'd expect from this kind of matchup, that the players are really trying to push the. Thank you. The players are trying to push their early aggression and like try and see what they can get out of it as fast as possible.
Yes.
It's one of those things though. Like Toho Braves is so good at like restabilizing on board over and over and over again, that like without the need to leave yourself vulnerable. Hybrids as well. Like in the past, Ruin Mode was the great user of board-wide DP minus, and hybrids historically did well into that because you could still develop your quote-unquote rookie Digimon with Tamer cards. And Susanomon can clear a board just as well as it does against most of its other matchups, but the Takuya just sat there waiting for the next turn is still going to get some value. So even the like classic built-in response of like clear one body with execute, clear the rest with DP minus isn't enough to necessarily stop the red hybrid aggression.
Mm-hmm. And also, as we saw in game one, it's like the Karakurumon is really good at having interaction with said Tamer decks, being able to suspend it and having it stunned for a turn. But due to the sequencing of the turn, having to attack with execute, doing the security check and hitting a tamer just gave the momentum back.
Yeah, that is the thing. Toho Brave's not necessarily a deck that is doing all 5 damage all at once and killing you in one turn. It's trying to take it over a 2 or 3 turn sequence.
The highest damage push, of course, for the deck is through Amaterasamon.
Yeah.
A house of a card, being able to pop bot deck.
It's so good, man. The longer I play with it, the more I'm like, they just gave it everything Red has had in the last year just to see what it would look like. What do we think about Kunlun revealed to BT26? I think Kunlun is an indicator of cards to come, not necessarily intended support for the cards that we're playing with right now. But it's not bad playing out, San Myojin Arrival.
Yeah, even now,
Saniketsu.
Yeah, being able to if you're able to establish a Shishimamon, check security, go into any of the 6s, and then with Kunlun's timing, being able to play out an option. Which could be one of the Sun Myojin arrivals, of course. You're setting up a very early interaction point for your opponent to deal with. But I think the main thing about Kunlun is what's to come, of course, because we know from just Digimon guidebooks in general and like source material that there are Shambhala cards with level 7s. So they have form changes. What will that do with dual cards in the future? We do not know just yet.
Oh,
but
please. The Copium is so good for that for me. That's all I want in life. Just a Crimson mode duel. God, I could do that.
Also, here, of course, every Shambhala level 5 having assembly, being able to immediately contest the board again.
Yeah. Oh, my lord.
Really
Great
good
point.
One of the things I wanted to say about a TB as well that I find still a little bit balanced about the deck is they don't have any board-wide protection.
Yeah,
so if you remove a board, you have to deal with maybe one Sun Myojin getting played out, or like for every option they have. But what gets removed will still be removed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they need to have the resources, of course, to play out more. So that is one of the things that's like, okay, as soon as you see a Susanomon execute and make an entire board, that's what they have.
Yeah, you need to act on what is on their board, not any hidden information you might not be aware of.
Yeah, but the thing that's difficult about it is that the interaction they have and the speed they have is very difficult, and you would have to kill them that turn, or another Susanomon comes down and just completely nukes the board again. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
One of the things that really blows my mind when you watch Toho Braves resolve its cards is that there's really no dead space card advantage-wise for them to send something. Cards in trash or execute and assembly material. Cards in hand, which this deck is so good at adding to hand advantage quickly. Like all of the effects from San Myojin Arrival, Analog Youth that people are frequently taking in. Wankomon almost always hits 2 cards. A lot of this engine is just very efficient in a way that, like, not necessarily just in terms of memory, but actually just in terms of raw number advantage. So as a player who is attempting to keep pace with it, you are less likely to have had a chance to draw the out to their solution or to their challenge as they are to have made a challenge that beats what you're holding. And that is like a significant change in the gameplay base, because unlike other decks that have been good like this in the past, I think the closest thing to how this deck gets talked about is when, like, there was recently the DATS Ruin Mode Turbo, where it's like, you just draw 20 cards and then you combo 3 turns in a row till the game is over. This does not play like that. It has more advantage drawn over the course of its game plan, while it's also fighting on board. It's not just sat in the raising area waiting to OTK you. It is actively working on killing you.
That's a Medusa, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
It's it's the kind of card you'd want for this situation, I think, because taking out the eggs,
yes,
pretty good.
For sure.
Pretty good. Let me go ahead and get that puppy up, actually. Again, we talked about earlier, though, the toolbox of red cards that you can bring with you is just, like, huge for the game, because over the course of 6 years, Digimon has accrued, like, some cards, like, older than you would consider as well. And so, like, the pool that players have to kind of bear in mind, especially this is the first UK regional since the advent of EX12's release. And this is the serial number. Oh, wait, I'm silly. I know where to find it. Don't worry, Henny, I do this professionally, man.
Oh, of course. I saw one question in chat about, of course, the surprise Bagramon reveals of today. And unfortunate, the person I replaced and gave a break is our
resident Bagra enjoyer.
Expert. Yeah. We have to wait for him to come back to give his thoughts.
No, I'm sure he's pretty happy to see it.
I think that was one of the shining lights at 4 a.m.
Yeah, really kept me going when people were like, "What the?"
Yeah.
I thought it was neat today to see that they were just doing all of the eggs at the same time as well. Their beat break getting 2 in a row.
Yes.
Is a big deal. Let me pull out a Medusomon up for you guys.
There it is.
Yeah, the toolbox continues. Aldemon is also one of those cards that, like, red decks historically were not blessed with just the surplus of card draw. One of the things that doesn't get talked about in a huge way for this kind of archetype is the change AD01 Aldemon brought to the game. Just drawing 4 cards over the course of 2 turns for no trade-off, and frequently getting extra tamer cards too, means that, like, Red Hybrid, we mentioned, like, Toho Braves doesn't have a bad place for their cards to go. Red Hybrid gets to choose where its cards are going. It's taking things out of trash, it's taking things out of hand. It's always moving to where it wants. It's a sign of a good aggro deck in most card games, actually, is that it is the most effective at developing its to borrow a term from Magic, its artifacts, its permanence, getting everything down as fast as possible. But speaking of getting things down as fast as possible, while I was looking for Medusamon's asset, the Toho Braves have arrived. This is one of those boards that you're like, again, like the multifaceted way you have to interact with Decode for a body, Kageyamon ready to show up as well, like all kinds of threatening angles that you have to consider. And, like, Red Hybrid, despite all of these cool toys, is still mostly just deleting things.
Yes.
Its tech cards are not that plentiful. Sometimes it's by battle, granted. There's the Emperor Greymon promo and Emperor Greymon BT11 are both very good at deleting things in battle. But on the whole, it isn't a, like, necessarily huge deal for them to, like, have to find a new point of interaction. They're still going to delete you no matter what.
Yeah, and here we see just
a pretty bang game.
Yeah, Red Hybrid just executing the game plan it has against TB, just rushing it down very effectively. And the point you brought up with Aldemon, of course, not only giving the consistency aspect and of course the 5-cost dual tamer, or the triple tamer from 801.
What a card, what a card.
It also has rush, so you're able to very effectively do a lot of damage and push out advantage. What would have been one of Red Hybrid's, like, difficulties in the past, where the tamers you see, that was the damage you had to deal with. But now they can bring back damage from somewhere else, which is just rush. And especially the level 6s we saw in Medusa and Netza, they also have rush. So even if you're bridging through the old Aldemon that's immune for options or turns off options, you're still able to just swing with your level 6 and doing damage immediately.
Yeah.
So I think also here this might have been, I'd say, an element of surprise for.
Oh
for
my
Shane.
God! Yeah, the absolute blowout of double Atomic Inferno was the game swinging. I mean, that would have swung a match.
Just a single one.
Even a single one would do it.
It just says when block gain 4, so he just procced it twice.
Yeah, that's all you had to do.
Yeah, so I think it reminds me of just when you have a boogeyman in the format and you're on your passion project, being able to find the tech cards that you want to play to counter the current format is really good.
For sure.
And of course, if you look at the wider format, the Netza being able to swing into beat break boards or force them to block, of course, and
make them use that barrier.
And having the Aldemon inherited for the musket. I think this is actually a very interesting call.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's not the last time we do that with this well. So if you're hypothetically I wouldn't worry about that being all they did. But that's how they wrote. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll be right back. I promised you, chat, that we were not gonna go ahead and do more of the but if anyone wants to play the VOD, we'll be back. We will see you shortly. Sounds great, guys.